Plaintiff John Nabarra says a year after he met the defendant at a funeral, they started dating, but the defendant turned out to be a praying mantis who lured him in with sex, and he has the explicit text messages to prove it. John's suing his ex today for an unpaid loan. Defendant Marie Schneider says when she first met John, he was as sweet as could be, but he turned out to be a master manipulator who had multiple personalities. Marie denies luring John in with sex, and she insists the money he's suing for was a gift.
All right, prove your case.
Well, Your Honor, when people meet, they meet at birthdays, they meet at parties, they meet at bar mitzvahs even.
Church.
Church. I wound up meeting Marie at a funeral. Okay?
Okay.
Unfortunately, at this funeral...
That's terrible. You know, you took advantage of that woman. She in mourning. Come on, lay your head right here, baby. Lay your head right here. Patting that leg. It's gonna be all right. It's gonna be all right.
Well, as you'll see, it's a little different than...
Go ahead. You met her at a funeral.
Yes, I met her at a funeral. Actually, I met a praying mantis at a funeral. She was my praying mantis. She lured me in with sex, okay?
At the funeral?
Not at the funeral, no, sir.
Oh.
Your Honor, that's not all the truth.
It's half the truth.
It's half the truth.
There you go.
He did meet me initially years ago at a friend's mother's funeral.
Okay.
That is true. Then we met again.
So you didn't lure him that day?
No, sir.
It was another day, Your Honor. Another day.
Okay.
No, sir. I did no luring. We had a quick introduction, and we never saw each other until about 2 years later when we began dating.
That's definitely wrong. It wasn't 2 years later.
How long was it?
It was probably about a year later. She had contacted me.
Okay.
As I said before, she lured me in with sex. Don't get me wrong. We had other things in common, music, motorcycles. She even has her own bike, okay, which was a great thing. But then
Why do you keep mentioning the sex thing?
Because it plays a big part in this, Your Honor.
Okay.
Usually
she
does.
Looks like usually does. All right. Woman looks so conservative, and you seem preoccupied with it, and doesn't appear like she would be. She just looks kind of conservative. What profession are you in?
In business management.
Right. Corporate American woman. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, besides being what she says, a corporate American woman, she's also a manipulator. I found out at the time when we were exclusively seeing each other that she was seeing another man at the same time.
That is not true.
I also have his witness statement right here.
All right. Let me see it if you like.
I hope I didn't write this
At some
thing.
point, you loaned her some money. Any other background you want to give me?
Oh, absolutely. After the 6 months, she ended it just like that. But then it turned to be only for sex, okay?
Your relationship ended and you all maintain, what do they call it, friends with benefits type?
Actually, it was a no strings attached where she didn't want any commitment.
Well, before we get to that, let me allow her to give some background. Ma'am?
Okay, Your Honor. Honestly, I can tell you today, I don't even know who this man is standing in your courtroom because he has multiple personalities and he is the master manipulator. When we first started dating, John was very sweet, charming. He was a gentleman. He actually was kind of more like a puppy dog, and he would trip over his own shoelaces. He would go out of his way. He would just do anything I wanted. It was like he had no backbone. It was pathetic.
Isn't that something?
Whatever I wanted.
I'm just saying, here the man is doing what many women would desire and think that a gentleman should do and a good guy should do, and he does all that and she ridicules him.
Yeah.
Well,
And then women, when the man comes and he has a strong personality and he talks crazy to you, and I like, what do they say, what's the word? I like a roughneck. I like a roughneck. Till he busts you upside your head. Till he busts you upside your head. Until he goes to prison and leaves you in a lurch. Then you want a square.
so what I mean by
you
that
a roughneck. You had a roughneck before?
no.
Well, that's what you need since he's such a puppy dog. If he's such a puppy dog, get you a tough guy.
Well, you know, you
Send
want a
him one of your
man
buddies.
who
Yeah, I'll
stands
send him
up.
one of my buddies. That's right.
You want a man who stands up for himself, who has his own opinion, who has his own thoughts. John didn't have his own thoughts.
Well, all I'm seeing, ma'am,
So-
is something about $5,000 that went from him to you, whether it was loan, gift, or what have you. And let me just tell you, the guys who are these roughnecks or the guys who wouldn't let you walk all over them, like my buddies, it would have went the other way. It would have went 5,000 from you and 5,000 to them. So don't take guys like him for granted.
Well, no, I don't.
Go ahead.
No.
All right.
As we were dating, I started to realize that there was something unnatural, not normal. You know,
That's a
John
lie,
wanted
Your
to
Honor.
do whatever I wanted to do. It didn't matter. And I had told
Catering
John.
to his woman, giving deference to his woman. What else?
What I told John was ride your own wave, don't ride my wave. Now, John had some not so good past relationships with women that he shared with me. One relationship was one of his exes, he found sleeping, having sex with another man. And John didn't end that relationship. That relationship got even more serious. Then a second relationship that John was in.
Forgiving man. Go ahead.
Okay. The woman turned out to be a lesbian and was using John as a front
Lucky man.
for her family.
I didn't say it. I didn't say it. Go ahead, ma'am.
So John had some bad luck with women in the past, and these women seemed to just take advantage of his niceness. And I didn't want to be somebody that took advantage of his over niceness. So
Instead of getting all of it, you just say you take 5,000.
Plaintiff John Nobara dated the defendant, and he claims she is nothing but a praying mantis who used him for sex and money.
Let me get back to him, ma'am. It's his lawsuit.
Well, I'd like to just add that, as I said, the relationship ended after 6 months out of the blue, and it turned to be a purely sexual relationship where she had made text messages to me asking for sex.
All right.
Having all these text messages here outlined in orange.
Brother got skills, dog.
If you'll see them in orange, Your Honor, there's quite a few of them. You'll get to the real good.
I'm not you can read it. And they may have to bleep out some of it, but
Your Honor, there's quite a few. Where would you like me to start from the beginning?
the juiciest. I'll leave that up to you, sir. Go ahead.
I was also thinking about how much I used to enjoy the way you please me with your tongue on a brighter note. So would it be weird if we didn't talk about my stuff and you just have me physical? I need the favor. Don't mean to sound selfish, but will you, until I do something and then I could go to sleep?
Getting hot in here.
I told you it was about sex, Your Honor.
Your Honor, some of that was when we were
This corporate
dating.
America, that's not
Also, Your Honor, there was more where it says,
Your Honor, I don't.
That's enough. Go
well,
ahead.
I'm just
one
going to add
last
this
one.
one last one.
I tried to break away. Just one more.
From this corporate America, no serious commitment, dating without expectations. I don't want to feel as I have to explain myself or feel obligated.
Well, and go ahead. Tell me how she owes you 5,000.
Okay, sir. Like I said, she's an expert. She preyed on me for over a year and just used me for sex and used me for money. But I was
You
lucky.
still strung out. That's all you keep saying. Go ahead.
I was lucky in one way because I only lost out financially because I could have died. And I'll say the reason why I could have died was because the place we were supposed to go to was by a motivational speaker called James Arthur Ray. And these things that I have photostated, He was charged in connection with 2 debts.
Those folks that was in the hot box or the sweat box.
Yes,
And
and
that
these people
wasn't the
were
one
told
Cleansing their
supposed to go to.
spiritual.
these people were not, didn't have any water for a few hours or maybe even a day before they were instructed not to.
Your Honor,
I'd like
that
to
has
just
nothing
give you
to do
that
with
about
Yeah, did
Mr.
you,
James Ray.
Tell me what you know about that, in your opinion. What was the goal and what do you think actually was going on? For those who don't know, this was a big news story about the sweat lodge, where these people paid thousands of dollars to get some type of self-help spiritual cleansing by going to sit in a sweat lodge of 120, 150
Yes, sir.
degrees, and you stay there as long as you can. And some of the people said they wanted to leave, and he wouldn't let them leave. He said they were weak, and if you walk out of here, you're weak. So what did happen?
Okay, well, I didn't go on these trips, but Marie did. My gut instinct said, I don't want to go on these things, Finally, one of the trips was to Hawaii. So I said, you know what? Maybe it might be a good thing that we go. So I said, it's a lot of money. I understand that. It's $10,000 a piece. She didn't have $10,000. Conveniently, she only had $4,000 on a credit card.
That wasn't
she charged.
conveniently, Your Honor.
Okay, so I had offered to pay the $6,000, told her it was a loan, and explained to her, it is on my card.
At no
I
time
do
did he
not-
say it was a loan.
Let him finish.
I do need this money back because it is on my credit card, and it does.
You loaned it
recoup
to her.
interest.
When was she to repay you?
I never established any type of terms, Your Honor.
When was it that you loaned
Actually,
it
it
to
was
her?
June of 2008.
Oh, yeah, you should have received something by now.
I didn't receive a penny.
And, ma'am, what do you say to this? You say he loaned you $6,000 in June of 2008 and you haven't paid him.
Well, John and I broke off with John after 6 months because there was no spark. I wasn't feeling anything. And again, just
You were feeling something the way those text messages.
not enough to keep me there forever. So we had planned and spoke about trips to Arizona and Nevada, where I have friends there. And I felt badly. And I said to him, if you want to go, we'll go as friends. And he agreed to go as friends. So we went and we spent some time down there. And while we were down there, John wanted some alone time. I didn't want that. We went as friends, and obviously he wasn't understanding that. So he wanted to have sex, and I wasn't interested. He wanted to go rent a room on the Strip. I wasn't interested. We got into a really bad argument, and he wound up calling me a terrible word that no woman ever wants to be called. So I asked him to leave my friend's house, which he refused to leave. He would not leave. We returned home to New York, and he was holding some of my property, which he would not give back to me. I tried to
Honor,
contact him.
I have email messages stating if she wanted
Let me
to.
just ask her what this has to do with the loan.
Okay, so at the seminar, because I could not afford the full amount,
Okay.
John again rose to the occasion and offered to pay for the remainder, which was the $6,000.
Ma'am, do you owe him the money? If not, why?
I do not owe him the money, Your Honor.
Why?
Because it was a gift.
Has he asked for it back prior to this year?
He was complaining about
Since
the
when?
amount of money. To be honest with you, I don't remember.
Plaintiff John Nobara dated the defendant, and he claims she is nothing but a praying Mathis who used him for sex and money.
Sir, when did you begin requesting repayment, and when is the last time? And tell me some of the responses you got regarding your request to be repaid.
Well, I have emails here stating about that she does owe me the money.
Oh, really?
This was, absolutely, February 19th of 2010.
Your Honor, he was
Yes.
holding my property.
Here's another email directed to me, Your Honor.
Yep, and I see nothing about your property in here, ma'am.
She
You
made
didn't
no
mention
mention
anything
at
about
all.
your property. Let me get
She was welcome to have that property anytime
nice
she wanted.
guy. You say he was too nice. Let me give you a phone number here. 6796. And I'm gonna write his name down. And he'll treat you like you want to be treated. $5,000 for the plaintiff. You're a good man. Don't let her discourage you from treating women
No,
nice.
sir.
Good luck.
Just the truth came out. The judge saw what she really was.
I'm glad this is over. It's too bad it had to come to this.